Are you tired of spring allergies ruining your day? Ever wish you could just enjoy the beautiful weather without the constant sneezing? You're not alone. Spring, the season of blooming flowers and fresh green leaves, often brings with it an unwanted guest. This guest is none other than spring allergies, an unwelcome intruder that turns our joy of the season into a time of discomfort. Spring allergies or hay fever are caused by pollen from trees, grasses, and weeds. This pollen can lead to an overreaction of our immune systems, resulting in symptoms like sneezing, runny nose, itchy eyes, and even headaches. It's like your body's throwing a fit because it doesn't want to play nice with Mother Nature. But don't despair. Even though these allergies may seem as persistent as a door-to-door salesperson, there's hope. What if there were simple home remedies to help you combat these pesky spring allergies? Stick around to find out. At number 9, we have hydration. Now y'all may wonder why something as everyday as drinking water is on our list. Well, let me tell you, hydration is a key player in battling those pesky spring allergies. You see, when we stay hydrated, our bodies are better equipped to flush out the allergens that cause all that sneezing and wheezing. Not only that, but sipping on water throughout the day can provide some sweet relief to a dry, scratchy throat, a common symptom of allergies. And let's not forget about those stuffy noses. Drinking plenty of water can help loosen up that mucus, making it easier to breathe. So the next time you find yourself in the throes of a spring allergy attack, reach for a glass of water. Your body will thank you. So remember, when spring comes around, keep a water bottle close by. Coming in at number 8, spice up your life. Now, who doesn't enjoy a little kick in their food? But did you know these fiery ingredients can be your secret weapon against spring allergies? That's right. Spicy foods are known for their ability to clear up nasal congestion, making them a fantastic home remedy for those pesky allergy symptoms. Let's talk about hot peppers, for instance. The heat you feel when you bite into a chili pepper comes from capsaicin, a compound that can thin out nasal mucus, helping you breathe easier. And then there's wasabi, that green paste that makes your eyes water when you're enjoying sushi. It can offer a quick relief from blocked sinuses. And let's not forget garlic, a natural antibiotic that can boost your immune system and help your body fight off allergies. So go on, add a little spice to your meals. Not only will your meals be more exciting, but your allergies might just take a backseat. Steaming in at number 7, it's steam itself. Now, who would have thought that something as simple as steam could be a secret weapon against those pesky spring allergies? Well, it's time to pull back the curtain and reveal the power of this humble hero. Inhaling steam can work wonders for clearing up blocked nasal passages. Imagine a warm, gentle mist wafting up, carrying away the discomfort of congestion. It's like a personal mini sauna for your nose, and it doesn't stop there. Steam also soothes irritated sinuses, helping to reduce inflammation and bring much-needed relief. Whether you're enjoying a hot shower or sipping on a warm cup of herbal tea, steam is all around us, ready to lend a hand. So the next time those spring allergies have you feeling stuffed up, don't forget this easy, accessible remedy. So next time you're feeling stuffy, remember, steam is your friend. Sweetening the deal at number 6, we have honey. Now, this might sound too sweet to be true, but bear with me, y'all. There's a theory that consuming local honey can help build an immunity to local allergens. Here's how it works. Bees flit from flower to flower, collecting pollen along the way. This pollen gets into the honey they make. By eating this honey, you're introducing these allergens to your body in small, manageable doses. Over time, your body can learn to tolerate these allergens, reducing your allergic reactions. It's like a natural vaccine against the sneezing, the itching, and the watery eyes that come with spring allergies. Now remember, it's important that the honey is local. Only then can it contain the specific pollens you're likely to encounter in your environment. So, next time you're brewing a cup of tea, why not sweeten it with some local honey? It could be the sweet solution to your spring allergies. Brewing up at number 5, we have herbal teas. Now I know what you're thinking. How's a cup of tea going to help me with my allergies? Well, let's take a little journey into the world of herbal brews. First up, we have the ever-popular green tea, packed full of natural antihistamines that can help keep those pesky allergy symptoms at bay. Next, we find ourselves with chamomile tea, a gentle and soothing option that can help to calm an irritated throat. And then there's peppermint tea, a refreshing brew that's been known to relieve sinus pressure. Its natural menthol can help clear your nasal passages faster than you can say achoo. I know it sounds simple, but sometimes the best remedies are the ones we overlook. So next time you're feeling under the weather, remember, there's probably a tea for that. Soothing in at number 4, we have essential oils. Picture this, you're lounging in your living room, breathing in the refreshing aroma of peppermint, lavender, or lemon. Not only does it make your space smell incredible, but these essential oils can also serve a dual purpose. They can help mitigate some of those pesky allergy symptoms. Peppermint oil, with its strong, fresh, minty aroma, can act as a decongestant, clearing up those stuffy sinuses. Lavender oil, known for its calming properties, can also ease the inflammation and discomfort caused by allergies. And let's not forget lemon oil. With its clean, citrusy scent, it can boost your immune system and help ward off those allergy symptoms. So why not consider introducing essential oils into your daily routine? It's a natural way to navigate through allergy season, providing relief from symptoms while also filling your home with delightful, soothing scents. So why not make your home smell great while combating those pesky allergies? At number 3, we recommend some dietary changes. Now you may be wondering, how can food affect my allergies? Well, certain foods can either exacerbate or alleviate allergy symptoms. For instance, foods rich in vitamin C such as oranges, strawberries, and bell peppers can help to strengthen your immune system and reduce histamine release. On the other hand, dairy products can create and thicken mucus, making your symptoms worse. You might also consider adding foods with natural anti-inflammatory properties to your diet. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fish, walnuts, and flax seeds can help reduce inflammation caused by allergic reactions. And it's not just about what you eat, but also when you eat. Eating a larger breakfast and a smaller dinner can help regulate your body's histamine levels, improving your allergy symptoms. So remember, what you eat can make a big difference in how you feel. Make these dietary changes and see the impact on your allergy symptoms. Moving in at number 2, we have physical exercise. Now before you start groaning, hear me out. Regular exercise isn't just good for your waistline or strengthening your heart. It also works wonders for your immune system. You see, when you exercise, your body produces more of the cells that attack the bacteria in your body. This means you're better equipped to fight off those pesky allergens that are making your life miserable. But don't worry, you don't need to run a marathon or lift weights like a bodybuilder. Even a brisk walk around the block or a quick yoga session can do the trick. It's all about getting that heart rate up and the blood pumping. And if you're lucky, you might even find that your allergy symptoms lessen after a good workout. So what are you waiting for? Pull on those sneakers and give those allergies a run for their money. And finally, our number 1 remedy for spring allergies, getting enough rest. Now we all love a good snooze, but did you know that sleep is a powerful ally in the fight against those pesky allergies? Indeed, it is. When we sleep, our bodies go into repair mode, healing and rejuvenating our cells, tissues, and systems, including our immune system. A strong immune system is crucial for battling those spring allergens. It's like a knight in shining armor, protecting your body from the invasion of allergens. And guess what? This knight gets its power from sleep. So if you're scrimping on those precious hours of rest, you're essentially leaving your guard down. But it's not just about the quantity of sleep, it's about the quality too. Establishing a regular sleep routine and ensuring a calm, dark, and quiet sleeping environment can significantly improve your sleep quality. So remember, sometimes the best medicine is a good night's sleep. That's our list of top 9 home remedies for spring allergies. We've journeyed through an array of natural remedies, each with their own unique benefits, from hydrating your body, spicing up your meals, to basking in the soothing warmth of steam. We've savored the sweet relief of honey, sipped on calming herbal teas, and breathed in the therapeutic fragrances of essential oils. We've considered the powerful impact of dietary changes and physical exercise, and last but not least, the restorative power of adequate rest. These remedies may not only alleviate your spring allergy symptoms, but could also enhance your overall well-being. They're simple, accessible, and can be integrated into your daily routine with ease. So why not give them a try? If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more handy tips and tricks. Remember, Springtime should be about enjoying the outdoors, not fighting allergies. Let's make that a reality together.